Bringing mindfulness into your everyday life is an essential practice for a life of fulfillment and balance. So let's look at what it means to be mindful in everyday life. Well, firstly, mindfulness is the ability to be present with your full attention. That is to say, it is the ability to be here now with exactly what is in this moment. Not to be stuck in thinking about how we wish this moment would be different, or how we wish it were another moment or some future moment. Instead, let us be here with exactly what is, accept it, and allow it to be. It doesn't mean that it's going to be a good moment. There is no good and bad in this context. There simply is what is. And when we allow the is-ness of the moment to just be, there is a comprehensive peace that follows by accepting life and allowing it to be here, allowing yourself to be part of life as a whole, to not get caught up in this idea or this feeling that we exist separate from life. For how could we be accepted from life? We are no exception. We are life. Life is us, and we are life. And so being with life means being with what is. It means being here now, fully, as yourself, just as you are. Now, this doesn't mean that there aren't things you wish were different, but set that aside for the time being and just be with what is. And so you might ask, well, how can I be with what is? I don't know what that means. Let's just take a moment to look around where you are. Notice what you see without labeling it. Just see. Just see. Just hear. Just smell. Just touch. It is called coming to your senses. And if we focus our attention on our sensations, what we do is we detract attention from the thinking mind and into the lived experience of this moment. And in doing so, the mind quietens, the suffering lessens, and we are simply left with what is right here, right now. And when we do that, you might notice that there is a wonderful sense of connection that starts to arise. It is not a connection to anything in particular, but rather a sense of being with all things as they are. And so, let's do that, and let's be here. Now, in your everyday life, when you are moving about the world, you can be fully with whatever it is that you're experiencing, instead of pushing it away, suppressing it, or avoiding it. Allow life to be as it is here and now, and find the peace and the contentment and the fulfillment in this moment. That comes from within you. It is coming from your essence, from this place of stillness or of being that exists in you. And if we look deeply or closely enough within ourselves, we will find that this essence is who we truly are. It is so much more ourselves than our identities, than our thoughts about ourselves, than our situation that we're in. It is just a fundamental truth of our existence that who we are is just a being. We are a manifestation of one of the complexities of life. Life is manifest all around us in an extraordinarily number of complex ways. Billions and billions of ways that life manifests itself. And we are one of them, as individuals and as a collective humanity. But more so at the individual level, let's focus on. And it's just you. And what's interesting is that you are made up of 99.9% empty space. The scientists tell us that there is more space in an atom than there are molecules. 99.99 whatever percent empty space. And in fact, there is greater distance between each atom than there are atoms. And so, how is it that we can be so spacious and yet feel so condensed and dense? Allow that question to stop your mind for a moment. Do not try to figure out the answer to it, for the answer is not a conceptual answer. It is a question directed at finding that within you which is space. And to be spacious is to be still, is to be silent, is to be here. And that spaciousness is not a thing, just like space is no thing in particular. It is the ground of all being, so to speak. It is the canvas on which life is painted. And so by getting in touch with it, and by allowing life to be here as it is, we make peace with ourselves as we are, and with life as it is. And so taking this with you in your day-to-day life means always having one foot in the being realm and one foot in the doing realm. It means being connected with who you truly are at your core, and at the same time being engaged with the world, having conversations, meeting people, going to meetings, doing whatever it is that we're doing in life. That's all great, that's a part of life. But it is not the only thing in life. And this often overlooked aspect of our existence is just overshadowed by a mind that doesn't stop, that just wants to run 24/7. And so we take time, we take space, we step back and allow the mind to quieten. We allow ourselves to just be here as we are. And in that, we find contentment and peace. And so do not wait for anything to start living your life this way. It is always here and accessible to you. You need only allow it to reveal itself in you. Crack open that shell that is holding it in and allow the light to shine through. For often our mind and our personality becomes so dense and so constricted, and an identity that we want to hold on to so tightly because we think it is who we are, that we do not allow this light in us to shine through. And so we feel constricted, we feel closed off, we feel disconnected. But if we are to breathe and be here and allow what is in this moment, we find that constriction eases and spaces begin to appear in that shell, and the light shines through vibrantly. And you can sense this in other people as well. For those who are super constricted and dense, walk around with a cloud hanging over them. It feels so powerfully negative. And yet others are free and light and vibrant with their being. And we all have that capacity in us. We need only allow it to shine through. And it is not something that you have to consciously try hard to do. Instead, it is a relinquishing of trying and allowing to be as it is. For this light in you, it shines brightly no matter what. Yes, it can be clouded over by thoughts and judgments and emotions, but it is always there. And so work with yourself, as yourself. Do not get lost in the stories of the mind and the mental games that we play. We can honor them and engage with them and be with them in the world, for they have done marvels for us. But they came at a magnificent price, where we were unable to feel that light within ourselves for very long, except on rare occasions where it shines through. Instead, let's choose to allow it to shine through always. To move through the day with ease, with kindness, with presence, and not demand anything else of life other than what is in this moment. Just allow this moment to be here as it is right now. So let's breathe and fill our lungs with air. Feel the spaciousness in us grow. Feel the mind quieten and the light shine through. And notice what that experience is like. That natural way of being in the world that we can sense in others, and especially in animals who are not clouded by the thinking mind as we know it. They just exist perfectly in tune with all things. They respond to life, they're engaged, they deal with challenges, they deal with pain. But the light always remains. It is why we love animals so much, because they invite us to be with them in this light. They take us with them on their journey, just as we take them on ours. And so living with an animal gives you an opportunity to know and remember this vibrancy whenever you interact with them intentionally. Sure, you can ignore them and allow them to do their own thing, but when we engage, or when we watch them, or when we participate in a game or an activity, our light shines brightly and we feel it so immensely. It is a great joy and a privilege and a pleasure to be with animals. And humans can be that way too. You know, those moments where there is just something about being with a particular person that changes you, that brings the light out in you, that doesn't cause stress, that doesn't cause anxiety, that doesn't cause judgments. For those are mental games that we play that have physical, ramifications as well. But fundamentally, it's a conceptual realm that we get stuck in. Instead of seeing the light in another and knowing the light within yourself. And so let's try and bring more of this light into our lives. You do not need others to do it. You only need to do it yourself and watch as others do the same. It's like they say, be the change you wish to see in the world. Do not demand the change of others. And so, as you go about your day, be mindful of letting this light flow through you. Do it with intention and do it with grace. And notice how life begins to transform before your very eyes. Thank you.